Hello, welcome to another week of Kenty Prime Time. Paul Kent here once again with Johnny Elias. And today we've got New South Wales' favourite man at the moment.
We love him.
The one and only Aaron Woods. Woodsy, welcome.
Boys, I'm not sure about the favourite man. Stirred the pot a bit up there, but good to be here. Good to be with you two blokes.
So let's just start with it. Let's just get the Band-Aid off right nice and early.
Let's do it.
New South Wales convincingly win game one. You come out and call Billy Slater a grub.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
New South Wales lose the series 2-1.
Jesus.
Do you feel responsible?
A little bit, Paul. A little bit. You know, like, I was so confident because game one, I don't even think New South Wales played well.
No.
And to win up at Suncorp, you know, to be on the other side, up there in enemy territory and the way they played, I would have thought, you know, we go to Perth, quite excited. I don't think Queensland have ever won in Perth.
New South Wales never lost in Perth.
Yeah. Exactly right. You go over there, and then the performance in that first half, I was just like, oh, my God, far out. I was like, what have I done here? I've just really stirred the pot, you know, and the like when I first said it with Billy, it is a joke.
Yeah.
And
well, it was light. It wasn't a joke, but it was light. Well,
it was like it was to build a bit of banter for the series, you know, and like not a joke, but yeah, it was like
that was lost and
have a little crack and you know try and get him to fire back. Oh, how many Origins have you won? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the week went on. You know, I went on the 360 with Gordy. You know, we had a bit of fun, me and Gordy, and it went quiet for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then on the Sunday, the big fella, Big Tails, the Raging Bull, he got a bit. The eyes started rolling a bit on the show, and he started ripping in. And from what he was saying, I knew someone had reached out to him because there was a comment that he made was that if he's such a grub, why would my son get a photo with him?
Yep.
Which Kenny, what happened was only 3 people would know that, and about the incident. So we were at Magic Round.
Mm-hmm.
I was commentating for Triple M. We're up at these top boxes right at the top at Suncorp Stadium. I was going to take my little fella downstairs, Buster, because he was going to be a ball boy for the 3 o'clock game on the Saturday Arvo, which is Newcastle Souths.
Mm-hmm.
And as I go down the lift, we were right at the back. Everyone jumped in, and then we get down to, I think, level 3. That's where the Channel 9 Fox boxes are.
Yep.
Billy Slater rocks in with his producer from Channel 9. We go downstairs. Everyone gets out. Billy's there at the front. I literally walk out. I walk past. I shake his hand. Hey, Bill. I said, Buster. Shake his hand. Buster shakes his hand, walks away. Buster goes, who's that, Dad? I go, mate, he's one of the best fullbacks to ever play the game. Because my young bloke was only 5.
Yeah.
And that is all that happened.
Mm.
So from that, there's only 3 people that would have said something to Gordy about that.
Yep.
So someone's dropped the lip and had a little complaint, wasn't too happy. And then the Tuesday comes around. And I think when I was watching that press conference, Kenny and Johnny, he was going really well. And I was like, Jesus, I'm in some trouble here. The crowd's clapping, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. But the moment he goes, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I think that's where it sort of just took a turn that we just weren't expecting.
Yeah, it's a funny, you know what? Like I've sat back, and now I'm not in mainstream media now, and I sat back and I watched it, and I truly believe that just about everybody that commented on it, and this is going to be typical of me, just about everybody that commented on it got it wrong, right? It fell quickly into you saying out of line what you said, which that can be part of the banter around the game.
Fun, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was quickly. Queensland are so quick to adopt an insult.
Oh yeah,
that they grabbed onto it very quickly,
yeah.
And they turned it into a real thing. And I think someone actually got to Billy as well.
Well, I think
because for him to go where he went,
for me that was premeditated. I think he had thought about what he was going to say.
Well, yeah.
And I reckon he's worded up because it was a Queensland journey.
Well, see, I don't know whether Billy came to that idea himself.
Yeah,
about
he must have an advisor
or someone's
team.
tipped to him and tried to say, you know what, this is and this is going to sound, this might blow up a little bit actually, but fuck it.
Oh, no.
But someone might have said, mate, you can use this.
Yeah.
I think, now that's going to be cause a little bit of bad taste, right? And I think, but that has happened, as you both would know, plenty of times in the past.
You're always going to
and it's backfired a little bit.
Yes,
it's backfired, okay?
No.
And it wasn't received, I think, how Billy intended it to be received, which would be illustrated by the fact of his apology a day later. I thought his apology was heartfelt and genuine.
Yeah.
I think he did really regret saying it.
Oh, definitely.
But I think that no one actually understood that all you were trying to do was take what was, and again, the Origin build-up in recent years has been terribly boring in most cases until someone like yourself or increasingly a New South Wales journo, which just it staggers me that Queensland, who spend 11 months of the year just saying, mate, who cares what journos think?
Oh.
But for that 6-week period of Origin, every little comment that a journo makes about Queensland, they grasp it and they hang on to it and they turn it into a genuine insult and how dare you, and they use that as fuel. And while they don't want to admit to this, Queensland, we have seen, and Mal Meninga's spoken often before of taking these little slights against Queensland as triggers. Only a few weeks back, I had Ben Icon on Kenty Blitz, and he spoke about how Queensland actually do feel aggrieved by a lot of these insults and by this supposed arrogance of New South Wales. And so they do take them to heart. And I think in this case, they genuinely used it as an insult, but which obviously lost its way when Billy went down the track he did.
I tell you what, boys, where I got the idea from was the back page of the paper of the Courier Mail.
Yeah.
The day of the Origin.
When they call Lenu a grub.
Smash this New South Wales grub.
Yeah.
And that's what got lost in the banter.
Well, the other thing is, like, Josh Reynolds' nickname is Grub.
Well, every time
he's not the only player in the game who's ever been nicknamed Grub.
So, Kenny, I commentate with Grubby now.
Yeah.
And then just out of like mucking around, I always go, mate, am I allowed to call you that now? Like, we just take the piss.
But the funny thing is he
goes, mate, I don't even know what's wrong with it.
But he came out after and said, what's wrong with Grub?
Yeah. Now he's like, mate, I've been getting sprayed the whole career then.
Yeah.
But like, it's a badge of honour. Like, it was a bit of, and I probably brought up some stuff when he played.
But it's true though, Woodsy.
I didn't make anything up.
But it was true.
Yeah, but I didn't make up
anything. That's the other
anything.
thing. Billy was a dirty player.
I've played with him for Australia. I've seen what he does.
Yeah, there's no doubting that he has got that in his game. He had that in his game. They had to actually change, I wouldn't say rules, but certainly interpretations of rules to basically stop Billy doing what Billy was doing and that other players were beginning to copy.
Well, it was funny when it all happened and that Tuesday, Arvo, when he did the press conference, like my phone was blowing up. Everyone was ringing me, just make sure we're okay. And then as the Arvo went on, I was getting so many text messages on Instagram and my phone about things that he had done and things that he had said. And I'm like, look, that's not my go to have a little crying match with him now. Like, what's been said is, I don't want to turn it. I was just there to have some fun.
Well, you could have, if you wanted to, you could have, pulled out the dossier.
Yeah, but
I know you didn't, and I respect the fact
the thing.
that you
like, I was there to just banter the Origin up.
Yeah,
because everyone said game one, boring build up, like it was horrendous.
Yeah.
We were trying to.
It was boring too.
And you know what? Like, even I'll tell you something. Like, so with the New South Wales camp, Bo Ryan and myself for the Triple and Breakfast Show, we went in on the first camp and we had a bit of fun with the boys, mucked around. We got Brian Totto's diet. We mucked around with Nathan Cleary, Mitchell Moses. He's a great mate of mine, Mitchell.
Yeah.
Lebanese champion.
He's beautiful.
Like you, mate. But game three, they said if we go New South Wales, we can only talk about serious stuff.
Oh, really?
So from that moment, I just think we lost all sight of building up an Origin. And
I also think New South Wales lost the plot too.
I think they really they tried to rein it in too much.
Yeah. It's fascinating, this whole Origin circus that goes on. Tim Zoo just fought on the weekend. He came out, had a crack at Fundora before the fight.
Yep.
Fundora caught him, daddy's boy, all the rest of it. He said the same about Fundora. We saw Paul Gallen and Sonny Bill Williams say the most outrageous, defamatory, scandalous things about each other. Basically brought up every controversy they'd ever been involved with and used that to insult the other. And it was genuine. It was not a hype. It was genuine because they went into the fight knowing he's not going to punch me any harder than what he already was. He's not going to train any harder because they're both highly motivated themselves. But me, like a lot of people, I was not going to watch the fight. And then I sat there on that Wednesday night and thought, you know what? I just want to know what happens.
You paid the $70.
So I paid the $70.
I'm the same.
And that's the secret to it. Now, I don't get why Origin players who are supposedly playing this high-pressure atmosphere, supposedly the toughest game you can play.
Yep.
We wrap them in cotton wool and they have to be just patted on the back, told how good they are. Anything that's written that's mildly negative or controversial or against the grain, you just, hey, we don't want that. And you know what? They are slowly killing Origin with it.
But you know what, Kenny? They always say you don't want to fuel the team with more fire.
Yeah.
You look at the players we've got for New South Wales. If they stand there and back what they believe in, fair dinkum, we should win by 30.
I'll tell you something else.
You got to back yourself.
I'll tell you something else on that too. You don't want to, flame the opposition and get them fired up, right?
Yep.
New South Wales could have done with it.
100%.
They was trying so hard to not upset Queensland, to placate Queensland, to just, okay, let's not give them, that they came out lethargic. They played lethargically. They
Killed me,
played
Kenny.
without, they did. And they were the victims of, and I won't name who, but Johnny and I were speaking to a guy the other day who went into camp at one point, the New South Wales camp, and he could not believe how docile they all were and how quiet. The word he used was lethargic, but I don't want to keep using that. But the word he used the word lethargic, that they were that way in camp. And,
Well, they played that way.
New South Wales failed, exactly, Woodgie, failed to emotionally get to the level that Queensland were in Game 3 in a home ground decider.
That's what I can't
So,
get. Home ground decider.
Home ground decider, and they came out with Queensland far more fired up than they were. And Queensland dominated them.
Mate,
And as Icon said, too, and this is something I don't think New South Wales understand quite as well as Queensland do. Origin to them, their mentality for Origin is who can go hardest for longest.
who can win in the 80th minute?
They don't have any. They don't try any little tricks and
Yeah.
cute plays or anything like that. They just go out and it is just frontline footy over the advantage line. Make as much ground as you can. Quick play the ball, bash, bash, bash. There's not a lot of science to the way they play. They want to whack you when they got win the defensive battle. And New South Wales were not up for the fight.
Kenny, I was commentating it with Shane Webke and Wade Graham. The territory of stats and the position of where they were on the field, it was 79 New South Wales. They were in Queensland's end. 21. Yeah. So they were coming out of their end for 21% of that first half.
Yeah.
They were winning 20-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had 3 opportunities and they took it.
Yeah.
In the first 10 minutes, New South Wales come up with couple of big plays.
I thought New South Wales started well for about 10 minutes. That was
probably
it.
7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, maybe
and then from that moment, Queensland just got into what we call the grind, just going set for set.
Yep.
And that's what the good sides do. Penrith have done it for a long period of time. That's why they've, 4 premierships. They talk about getting in this cycle and they want to wear teams down and they just wait for the other side to crack. And we cracked.
And that's the policy of it. That's always been the policy in Origin.
Yep.
That's the like. It's funny when you talk to people. And look, I obviously didn't play it. You played it. Johnny didn't play Origin, but he played it a high level himself. But yeah, I've spent 30 years talking to Origin players, coaches, the lot, and when people who are not involved with the game want to talk to me about it and ask me about it and they question me certain things about what happened there and whatever, what they don't almost want to accept is that Origin is not a tactical game. No. It is basically a game of desire and toughness and who is willing to pay the price. It is very basic compared to NRL football. It is far less tactical than NRL club games, but it's tougher because more is demanded and more is expected.
Well, you look at the biggest. If you go over the history of when Queensland had that dominance of 8 years, they only won games by probably 4 or 6.
Yep.
But you look in the game's moments, and one of the big moments that stands out for me a lot of the time, Cameron Smith coming out from dummy half, kicking on a play 3. You just see Thurston, Inglis, Cronk. They just get on the back of it.
Yep.
They rev up like that. New South Wales could be in complete momentum of the game.
Yep.
But from this one single play, they kick into the corner. New South Wales are stuck there. Play 4, play 5. It's 20 metres out of their own line. They got a kick. Then Queensland come in a good ball, and then we're just like, we've just had momentum for the last 10, 15.
Haven't scored.
We haven't been able to get a point on the board. They go with one kick, just change the game.
Yeah.
And then it's an avalanche.
Yeah.
Paul and Aaron, can I tell you what I saw? First game, we all know New
Yep.
South Wales won that game. Second game, this was a masterstroke by Billy Slater. He's dropped the captain, okay?
Yep.
He's brought in Dearden, and he made the centre debut. That game and the third game, he's brought in the centre. When they're not there long enough to get team cohesion, do you notice what they did that last game? They completed their sets.
Mate.
They kicked to the pockets, and they kept him there, Paul.
Yeah.
And they'd done the basics better than
Yeah.
New South Wales.
And for longer.
And for longer.
And for longer.
That's
And
the
that
key.
was-
Their completion was higher.
70 minutes they completed
But their
100%.
complete was
Yeah.
100%. You
Yeah.
cannot beat them.
But you know what?
That's
and,
Origin football.
and-
If you've got
Yeah.
new players coming into the
and
side.
like Kenny said, they didn't really throw much at us.
No.
Like, the tries they scored,
Yeah.
Tommy Dearden it was a long range try.
I
Rob
just
Toy
think
was getting
Billy
dragged.
Slater outcoached
He
Laurie
did, but
Daly.
the players, like Kenny said, they competed harder. Like, so Rob Toy's getting dragged out.
Yeah.
We've got 3 players around the ball. You've got Toto, you've got Latrell Mitchell, Angus Crichton, and I think Jerome Luai. Somehow the ball bounces on the ground. Hemiso picks it up.
Yeah, it just went bang.
Angus Crichton tries to push him out. He stays in, and then who's pushing up on the inside for support to get the try into the
Dearden.
post?
Mm.
And he's Tommy Dearden. Wow, like he's just gone to another
Yeah,
level.
even in life, Aaron, if you want something bad enough, you get it.
Exactly right.
They wanted it bad enough.
The
Paul.
thing is, though, too, this is where New South Wales, for me, when people, New South Wales, like, yeah, respectfully to Laurie, we've all pledged our love for Laurie,
Of
Yep.
course.
but this is where they were our coach too. Okay, I remember watching Wayne Bennett coach a Queensland team one day, and it was the day I broke into camp. Wasn't supposed to be there. Wayne had his media band going on, and anyway, long story.
Do you remember the year, Paul?
It was about 2002, I think it was, when he
Okay.
came back to Origin. He had all the young kids with Buttigieg. Remember, he picked Buttigieg
Webb
and
and
John
all that.
Doyle
Yeah,
and
the
all
hooker
those
John-
guys.
yeah,
He had that no-name team. Wayne
Yeah,
Pearce was the New South Wales coach.
That was 202, yep.
Anyway, I watched him there, and Wayne was teaching the players basically how to treat the play the ball, because New South Wales had done it to win game 1.
Yep.
And I said to Wayne, I said, "You're teaching them to cheat." Now, Wayne didn't want to admit that to me. He said, "Look, New South Wales did it to us." He said, "We're not going to do it." I said, "What? You're not going to do it?" He said,
What are
"No,
you
we're not going to
practicing
do it." He said, "But," he said, "if I need them to do it," he said, "we need to practice
Yep.
it." Okay. And anyway, the conversation evolved, and essentially we got into the art of coaching, all the rest of it.
Yep.
One of the things Wayne told me that day was certain things like not giving up when the ball's gone past you and you're on the inside, not to give up on the play. Things like, which was the Dearden try. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you about.
Okay, they gave
you
up.
know-
They
you know
gave
what's-
up. But hang on a second. So they gave up defending there.
Yep.
The Xavier coach out from the end goals.
Mhm.
One guy or two guys chased. He got round them, and there was no one else chasing through the
Yep.
middle of the ruck. He made it 20 metres out. Those things. Now they are elite players. They should be doing that, but they also needed to be reminded of it.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that Gould was great at
He
when
loved
he was
basics.
coaching New South
Yeah.
Wales. He reminded them of Queensland are never dead.
Yep.
Never.
They never stop. You never give up on a play until. In New South Wales, you could see in both those incidents, players
Stopped.
thought the play was dead, dropped off. Queensland capitalised on both. Queensland never gave up in any of those moments in the game.
Yep.
And that comes down to coaching. I know that's ultimately on the players. I think it's pretty sickening, actually. The players come out and said, "Look, it's our fault." To me, they just accepted it too easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a too easy an acceptance of defeat. Oh, look, don't blame Laurie, it was our fault. Well, really, go and do something about it.
Correct. It's the standards.
Like it's too easy to just fob off.
You mentioned that there's one big play that I think didn't get recognised enough was the tackle from Dearden on Toto,
Yeah,
because they shift to one side of the ruck. Dearden makes a tackle in one
Yep.
side of the field, and then the ball goes past him. You can just go back, you're 10 metres, try to get back
Yep.
on side. But what he does, he just slowly moves forward behind the back of the play,
Yep.
behind the line,
Cover.
yeah, just
just
in case
cover,
he's needed.
just in case he's needed.
Yeah,
He even gets past Hemmer and then ends up making a big shot on Toto, which,
yeah,
you know, I know it was 20-0 at that stage, but there's
Yeah.
still 25 minutes left on the clock. That
Yeah.
could have just been a little revolver
that
from
could
New
have been
South Wales.
enough
And
for
that
New
just
South Wales.
completely shut us off.
Never
Yeah.
stop moving. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
keep moving. And you're right. Like, you just got to put yourself in the picture.
Yeah,
Like, you just got to, when you think you're done, you just got to keep moving. And you're right. Like, is that something they spoke about in camp? You know, if your job's done, it's never done till the 80 minutes is over or the 40 minutes.
Of course.
I'm sure it's something that is never ever forgotten in Queensland
Yeah.
camp. I think it's something that they live and breathe by, and I think it's something that they make sure that every camp, this is your responsibility.
Yep.
And New South Wales have been failing at this for 30 years, except for sporadic moments
Yep.
where there's an assumption. It's like when, again, back to Wayne. Wayne starts every off-season. We're doing 3-on-2 drills.
Yep.
And a lot of blokes new to the club go, seriously, mate,
What are we
I
doing
learned this
for?
when I was 12 years
Fundamentals,
old.
mate.
Do we have to do
Fundamentals.
3-on-2s? But how many, even the weekend just gone, Mate, the Newcastle
The
game.
winger.
Multiple times could not
could not manage a 3-on-2. Could not. Who was it?
That was a 2-on-1.
Bradman Best, an Origin quality centre, makes a break. Could not drag the fullback away from his support inside. Instead, kept running a straight line and passed it early enough.
Sharp was the best one, Paul. It was 2-on-1.
Yeah.
He just had to, he went for the dummy.
Yeah.
How the Newcastle supporters
And the
feel.
quickest bloke on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dominic
Just had to
Young.
pass to the Dominic Young.
But
He
that's
scored.
just basic football.
It's funny you say
And-
that. So I had Tim Sheens coming through.
Yep.
And
He talked to
wow,
us about Timmy. Yeah.
Sheens, as I learned how to play through Tim. Look, a lot of people, you know, as he got a bit older, I
Yeah.
wasn't there back at the club his second stint,
Yeah.
but the first one, unbelievable. That's why you look at so many players that he's coached are coaches now.
Yeah.
You know, you got Bellamy. You got, I think, was Wayne with him, or did he do a little bit with Wayne?
No.
Wayne left and he came in.
Wayne left and he came in.
Well, he had
Wayne went to the
Madge,
Broncos and he went-
Sticky, Loz.
Tim
He had all
Sheens
those
come from
blokes.
Penrith to Canberra.
But the thing
Yeah.
with
But he inherited
Tim-
that good team.
Tim was so driven on fundamentals of the game.
Yeah.
And you would do drills like, you know, you say 3v2s, all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff. We'd do games where sort of like you got 4 attackers, you got 3 defenders, and your attackers would run out, chase the ball. You wouldn't be able to see which defenders. He'd put him in certain spots. So when you turn around, he passes his ball straight away. You've got to pick: is it the C down? Is it the B defender down? And you'd have to come up with a play to find that hole.
Yeah.
Just play what's in front of you,
Game
because there's times in
situations, yeah.
games where you might have something that you think you got to do, but you've got to readjust because you've got to react to what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and even defensively, you'd just be doing fun. You wouldn't be going out and bashing yourself every day at training, but be working on technique. You'd just be doing the little subtleties.
Yeah.
And we did train, like we were doing 2 to 3 hour field sessions with Tim,
Yeah.
but they weren't always like you're going out there doing your 5K run. Like a lot of it was just high intensity, ball in hand,
Yeah.
just teaching players. Because
Short, sharp moments of intensity.
as
though,
I've
wasn't
got
it?
as I've got older, Kenty, when I was playing, kids would come into the first grade squad or do a precinct. They wouldn't know. Some would only be able to pass left to right. They couldn't pass right to left.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so crazy. And, you know, what Tim was great at, you make a line break, he'd tell you, well, if you got to look, if someone's coming on your back left, you got to look to change the ball from your left hand to your right hand so you can palm with your left.
Yep.
Just little things like that you probably were never aware of until Tim made you practice it.
Yeah.
We'd do drills and you'd do hit drills and you got to change the ball and
Yeah.
just timings and placings of where you had to be. He was so good with that.
Yeah. And there's an assumption too at first grade level that once you get to first grade level,
You should know all
you're on
this.
top of all that.
No.
And some coaches stop coaching. And like I said, that Newcastle game, I think there were 3 incidents in the game where the Knights could not read the play. I think twice there was a 3-on-2, and the was the worst one, the one that Johnny spoke about.
That was a
The
shocker,
goal-
mate.
That
2-on-1.
was a goal line attack.
And that was a try gone
Sure.
big, and it would have sealed the game for him.
They would have won.
Game's over.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like Sheensy was one of those guys. As a coach, he would have, and this, I don't know of any other coach that's really done this. Sheensy used to sit there to go, righto, we're playing Manly this week, and he'd say to Mal, "Come in, help me do the game plan." And so Mal would sit there and they'd do the game plan.
Yep.
Then the next week, okay, we're playing Balmain this week. Boxhead, Steve Walters, mate, come in. You're going to help me this week do the game plan. And what he'd do is he'd pick the players. What do you think? How are we going to beat them? How are we going to get around them? Yeah, next week it'll be Laurie Daly. Next week it'll be Ricky Stewart.
Gives them
And he
ownership,
goes
yeah.
through and he gives them ownership of the game plan, but he's also getting feedback from them. He's understanding how they're seeing the
They're
game.
out there
It's
playing.
keeping him current.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like Sheensy's, as everyone knows, like Sheensy can talk forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you ask him the time, 3 hours later he's telling you how the watch works.
Yeah, you tell me you
know
got
what I
married,
mean?
you're talking about rugby league.
Yeah.
Which is it fair to say he was your best coach? Of course.
I loved him. I loved and Shane Flanagan.
Wow.
Because
okay.
I got back, I was a bit older in my career, and
We're going
it
to
was
talk
a
about your
different
career
style,
later. Yeah.
I'll probably go back to him later
Yeah.
on. But the other thing with Tim, right, what when coming through the grades and you want to learn how to play rugby league, a lot of times this day and age they just give you an A4 paper. This is our game plan this week, or you know.
Yeah.
Tim, we used to have to. He'd write on a whiteboard. You'd have to write it down on a draft piece, and then you'd also have your thing where it had my plays and my goals for this game this week. Then you'd have to do a rewrite, so it'd have to be perfect of our attack, our defense, how we're gonna middles are gonna defend. I wouldn't have to worry about the edges, but because I was a front row, I had to worry about what our middle shapes were and our middle plays that I could get into my game that would help the team, and then the goals for my team.
So it was
that
every week.
Every week,
And
he'd
you'd have
take
to
it
write that on a piece of paper.
on a piece of paper every week, and you know, I just thought that was normal.
Yeah.
Until Tim moved on,
Yeah.
and then I had a fair few coaches in my time,
Of
and
course.
kids this day and age, they're lucky; they just get given things.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah. And
by
most
me,
of them probably don't
by me
even read
writing
it.
it down right, Kenty, when I got to places on the field and in certain scenarios, I just knew what to fall back on
Yeah.
because go through the draft. We'd do it all week. We'd speak about it. Then you'd have to hand in your final copy. You'd assess it. You come up with your own plays and your goals.
Yeah.
And then Tim would you'd sit down and have a chat with Tim after the game.
And he'd mark on whether you
Yep.
choose
Or you'd go to him through the week. Tim, I'm thinking about putting this in my goals, and you'd have a bit of feedback with Tim, and he'd go, I reckon you work on this one this week. You know, and we just slowly build to where you want to get to.
That's interesting.
So you sort of had, and it was coming from a really good place with him, and that's what I said. Like a lot of the times, people just go, "Oh, Benji was a freak," he just did things. He practiced it, and Robbie was a genius as well. Like, Robbie was so good at counting numbers, short sides, and Benji just needed the ball in his hand all the time, and he'd call all the time. But Robbie was the great service of when to give it to Benj.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so Robbie would see a wide 4, which is a short side with 4 and 3.
Yep.
And then you go to an open, and Benji would have a shape ready to go. And if it was 4 and 4, Robbie would just go straight to the open.
Yeah.
Robbie get a marker. I love playing Robbie because what he'd do, there was times where he sort of just had cues. You sort of knew when he was going to run, bring it out, 2-step.
Yep.
You knew when to get him behind the ruck, or other times where you're just going to catch it straight away. But back to the origin, actually, off that for a sec, I reckon Reece Robson come out too much.
Yeah.
And took time off Cleary.
Yeah.
If you watch the way we attacked the last Origin series last year, Robson was just straight off the deck. Our halves did a great job. Mitchell Moses and Luai worked really well together. This one, it felt like he was trying to come out, take the markers off, and the Queensland defence was just getting up and jamming, and it just gave Cleary no time.
Well, they were playing a mad umbrella defence.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it gave Cleary no time to have options.
Yeah.
And he's doing it again at the Cowboys now. There was a moment on the weekend against the Cowboys where they're making a comeback. He comes out and he just takes that one step too many. And he's dead set going to get, I think it was Tommy Dearden was almost going to get murdered by one of the defenders.
He's probably trying to add that ball playing to
what
his
he did,
repertoire.
but his best part of his best part of his game was his defence and his early ball to his halves.
Yeah.
Sometimes players can try to do too much.
Yeah, but if there's been a criticism of him, it's been his lack of ball playing.
Yeah.
But he's going to go to the Roosters side that love to play over the advantage line flat and fast.
I'll teach him.
They don't want him coming out dummy half. They just want an early ball.
Just give us the ball.
That's what I'm saying. So, but that's where Robbie was a genius.
Yeah.
I was so lucky to have him early in my career.
Yeah, particularly as a front rower.
Yeah, mate. And like, I worked really hard. Like, I'd always go to him, Rob, can I do something? Like, can we do a little bit? He was one bloke that probably was too hard on himself and trained too hard.
Oh, really?
He needed to relax sometimes.
Yeah,
Good
No,
player.
he's not really a relaxed guy, though, Robbie.
You know, probably like, everyone sort of gets
intensive.
off him, but he's so competitive.
Yeah.
He wouldn't care if he brushes in, just wants to win. Do whatever he can to win.
And I want to go from Tim Sheens. I really want to hear. I think Paul does as well. Flanagan, tell us about him.
I love Flanagan. So I was at a stage in my career. I sort of just left Tigers to go to Dogs, and I really struggled at the Dogs. I just wasn't sure where I was at.
Yeah,
it was a real
Who was the
poor
coach
decision.
then?
Dean Pay.
Okay.
And Dean Pay, mate, I loved. What a great fella.
Yeah,
but I don't think. Yeah, he just didn't have the right people around him to help him out
Fair
and
call.
all that sort of stuff. Then
Flanagan,
the opportunity with the salary cap come.
Poor old Dean.
Poor
Yeah,
fella.
They used him up
for the
there.
squad he had. He done very
They just
well.
got him
They
because
did
he's
the
the
wrong
next
thing by
bulldog.
him.
Yeah.
Just because he's the next bulldog.
And they didn't put anything around him, and they blamed him for their lack of success. Then they brought in Trent Barrett after him.
Look,
It was
His
worse.
winning record was actually worse than
And he had better
Dean's.
players. Yeah.
But
Well, Dean was a great bloke.
Yeah,
like, I
he
tell you,
is.
you
One
can't
of
say
the
a bad
best.
word
No,
about him.
never.
And he was just thrown in the deep end, I thought, over there.
yeah, with no support.
No, and mate, if I still see him now, I'd love to
Yeah, he's
have a
champion.
beer with him, mate. I remember walking past his office. We were watching the races together. Like, he was just a champion.
Yeah, he's one of the boys. He's one
So
of the
I
boys.
got the opportunity. I went to the Sharks, and Flanagan just
I wanna
really
hear about this.
he just simplified everything for me.
Yeah,
You know, as we got great players in this team. You just worry about your role. You just get that right first. Look, I signed there. I hadn't even met Shane. So I went down there, said hello, blah, blah. We did it. He goes, all I want you to do this week. So I signed on the Tuesday. We flew to New Zealand the next day, and we played on the Friday night against the Warriors.
Okay.
He goes, mate, your first job for this side, just run hard and make your tackles.
Front row.
And it's a very simple job,
yeah,
but you got to do it properly.
yeah.
You got to get quick play of the boys. You got to give the half something to play off the back of. So my mind was pretty. And then I'm a bit of a. I like to talk a little bit of shit in the sheds, have a bit of fun with the boys, and he encouraged that. He let me be me.
Okay.
You know, and other clubs you're at, like they say, oh, you know, we've got young kids, you got to be careful. Where
Be
because we
yourself.
had a really good senior playing. Well, we had Luke Lewis, we had Paul Gallen,
Yeah.
Wade Graham for
Of
feeders.
course you did. Yeah,
we had
yeah.
some different
Personalities.
personalities,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah.
And he let us be us as long as you trained hard.
And
And
played
like
well.
our sessions were intense,
Mm.
but geez, like I'm telling you, left v right, Wade Graham versus Luke Lewis, mate, you would love to just sit down and watch how good they were. It was unbelievable. And he just knew he'd get the right out of the boys. Like he'd get the respect of us by training so hard.
Yeah.
If he lets us be who we are.
Yeah.
How different
I
was
love
he
that
from
feedback.
Sheensy?
Oh, like Sheensy, very technical.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like, if we ever struggled at the Sharks sort of under Flanagan, we just knew, all right, let's just get 4 hit-ups and let's just kick to the corner, rev up.
Yeah.
Defensively, let's just change momentum, box them in the corner, and then just the defense.
Yeah.
Where Tim was just all about the fun, like just little trick plays.
Yeah.
Look to kick early. Like we'd have Todd Payton go to dummy half. We used to call it. It was called BC. So Todd Payton would it would be a play the ball on the scrum line.
Yep.
Todd Payton would come out like dummy half, drop a player under, would create a 3-on-2 on the short side.
Yeah.
Just little ways you could get yourself out attacking, whereas
Yeah.
Flano was more of a defensive mindset player.
Yeah.
Coach, sorry, yeah.
Coach, yeah.
Yeah.
The adjustment from one to the next, is it hard to do when you go? Because you went through, that period there at the Tigers where you were there, then all of a sudden the 4 of you were on the market.
Oh, man. I was on the show with you, remember, Kenny?
Yeah, I know.
Mate,
But
how fair dinkum. What about that time?
Who was your manager then?
Isaac.
Isaac was
What's his
name.
last name?
Moses.
Don't say bad. Don't say bad to Lebos. Yeah.
No,
He's been my manager the whole career.
Here's a situation where you had the 4. So there was yourself, Luke Brooks, James Tedesco,
Mitchell Moses.
Mitch Moses.
Yeah.
Tigers had the 4 of them, if you can believe that.
Yes.
At the same time.
Then
Well,
Ivan,
Teddy was
Ivan Cleary was the coach. Imagine what could have been.
Oh, man. And you know what? I'll tell you what.
Really.
He was looking for a
Ivan.
deadline, wasn't he?
Talk
Ivan?
about a coach.
Sign. Yeah, he put deadlines on
He
you.
put a 5 o'clock
On
Friday
Mitchell.
deadline on. I
Mitchell.
thought it was the 4 of you. He put it on the 4 of you.
Oh, no, Mitchell was first.
Mitchell's the first to say, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
He
because
left.
then he ended up going.
He left.
And then he put the deadline on us. And, like, I was rattled, Kenny. As you've
Yeah.
seen, mate. Like,
I think particularly you.
Yeah.
I remember you were sort of all over the shop. At the
I was
time.
coming into 360 and, like,
Yeah.
I was literally, honestly, people think, oh, no, you had that. I tell you, I was headless.
Yeah,
Because even the footy I was playing at that period of time was crap
yeah.
for the Tigers.
So when that happened, Isaac managed the 4 of you.
Yep.
Ivan Cleary was the coach. He
Yeah.
put a deadline because you were taking longer than he wanted for you to re-sign.
Yeah.
So he put a deadline. I think it was a 5 o'clock Friday from memory.
Yeah, it was one. It was
And
Friday afternoon, I think.
It was
yeah.
a Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, boom! Mitchell went to
Yeah,
Parramatta.
so Mitchell went probably 2 weeks early, I think.
Yeah, and
Because
then
he got his contract taken off.
Yeah, that's right. They
Yeah,
took it off
yeah,
the
they took
table.
his
didn't
off
it?
his,
That's
yeah.
right. They did
Because they were going to put their money into Brooksy.
Yep.
And
Who was
Okay.
the CEO then, Paul?
I think it was Pasco.
Pasco was, yeah.
Pasconator.
But they did that. Now out of that, the 3 of you end up leaving. Poor old Brooksy got left behind, and then I think in many ways burdened with the responsibility of the team, which
yeah.
was too much for him,
Oh, mate.
and it was unfair on him.
I tell everyone now, like, with those 3 blokes, like, they are sensational players. And everyone used to have a go at me, and I'd give him my take. Like, Brooksy's like a 5'8" because he's not a control
On the first receiver.
on the
Yeah.
first receiver on the field. He just likes to worry about his job.
Yep.
And then if he sees something, he'll just override call it. Give me the
That's
ball.
Which is why he's
perfect.
playing so well now at Manly.
Correct.
That's
He's got
perfect.
Cherry there doing the other stuff. And Tedesco is just individual brilliance, freakish.
As a fullback, sure.
He was still learning his ways defensively as a fullback,
Yep.
getting in right positions. And I think that's what he learnt so well under Anthony Michello at the Roosters, which took his game to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitchell was the smartest out of all of them.
Oh,
He was the
Nice.
rugby league player. And I've been telling everyone, I said, yeah, he comes across as a cocky kid, a little, like, little
Confidence.
shit.
Yeah.
But it's confidence. He knows, he
He's a
backs
good
his
fella,
ability.
Oh,
You will not, if you actually sit down and have a beer with him, you'll go, mate, I hate
Mate,
that I like you.
I tell you
Yeah, he's
something.
such a nice
I
fella.
like
And he's
Mitchell a lot.
Lebanese too,
I
right?
love
tell
him.
you, I've not told anyone this. A couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
3 weeks ago, before game 3, mate of mine gave me an Origin jersey and said, mate, my daughter, she's 12 years old. Can you get Mitchell to sign it for her, sorry. And I said, yeah, sweet. So I rang him and I said, look, he doesn't live far from me.
Mhm.
I said, mate, look, I don't want to be a pain. If you're happy, mate, I'll come round, just come out the front and sign it.
Yeah.
He drove round to my place to sign the autograph, to sign the jersey for me.
Champion.
Yeah, and not asking anything for it, just came around, it's like that's a really lovely quality in a bloke.
It is.
Oh.
And that's something that they don't get recognised enough for.
No, but what
But he
people...
did. He drove around my house and
Great
signed the
fella.
jersey.
Every time I've
at
seen
my
the fella, he
place.
goes out of his way to say hello.
Yeah.
champion. And
Yeah.
people only, what I tell a lot of people, and people say it to me as well. They go, "Oh, you're actually not a dickhead." And I'm like, "Well, mate, you only see us for that 80 minutes on a
Yes,
Saturday or
yeah,
Sunday."
yeah.
You should hear what they say about me.
Oh, Johnny.
My
But
God.
honestly, like, when you get to meet someone, like, mate,
Yeah.
honestly, there's not many rugby league players I'd say that are dickhead.
No.
So when you were going through that period there, Woodsy,
Yep.
how did you find out you were leaving the club?
As in the Tigers.
Tigers.
Manager, was it?
Well, so when they took the contract off me,
Mm-hmm.
it was basically like, oh, it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So now I have to, like,
But was that your decision? Because what I'm interested in knowing about is
so everyone thinks it was
the
Isaac.
influence of the manager over you,
persuading
and whether
me.
the manager made the decision for you, or did you say to the manager, "Mate, I want out. I want to go."
So I'll tell you, so being the captain of the club, you got to have talks with certain peoples at the club,
Yep.
like just to see how it's all going.
Yep.
I had a lunch one day with one of the board members up at West Ashfield Leagues Club,
Yeah.
Yep.
and literally I was there for about 45 minutes having lunch,
Yep.
and every question referred back to Jason Taylor, and it was like they wanted me to say he's lost the group so they could move him on.
Right. So he was the coach.
He
not
was the
He
Ivan.
was the coach, yeah.
I
At the
thought
time.
Ivan was
Jason
the
was coach at the start of the year.
You
Then he
should have
got
corrected
punted.
me.
Yeah.
And Ivan came in.
Jason got
I
punted
thought it was
round.
Ivan that punted.
Yeah,
No.
Jason got punted round 3 after we
Right.
played a game, and then we had Andrew Webster for 2 weeks, and then Ivan came in.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And it was just I just walked away from that thinking something's happening here. Like
Yeah.
it's like they want to move him on, and there was talk, and we were like, well.
So this is when Taylor was still the coach.
Taylor was there. So the previous,
Yeah,
in
right.
the preseason, just before, so in the break before we're leading into the preseason,
Yeah.
there was talk that, Justin Pascoe, Ivan Cleary are very close. They've got their relationship. And then there was all
So
talk.
they're looking for a way to get Cleary
yeah, so
in.
we were like, well, if you're going to get someone, move him on now.
Pascal.
Move him on now before preseason.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole
Whole season. to
whole
start
6
with.
weeks prior to
Yeah.
Christmas or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Don't do it during the year because
Yep.
it's going to affect our year.
Yep.
And we played game 1. We beat South Sydney, which was Robbie Farah's first game for South Sydney. It was a big game
Yep.
for the club.
That's
Yep.
right.
Because remember, JT had moved him on. There was a bit happening. Game 2, we got beat by Panthers. And game 3, we got smashed by Canberra in Canberra.
Yep.
And that was when
That's right.
I think it come out reports that Mitchell Moses was blowing up the Lux in the tunnel
Yep.
when it was me and him having an argument about the game.
Yep. Righto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
if you met Mitchell and you watched him play, he
Yeah.
chucks the dummy.
Yeah.
And I'm always very hard on him.
But players too also
Mate,
can have disagreements.
You've
which
got to have disagreements.
people
We're
don't
men.
yeah, exactly.
And I was the captain of the team.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, mate, like, he was
Yeah.
just blowing up, just a couple of things that went on. And then I think they thought that he was blowing up saying that JT's no good.
Right.
And then
Okay.
they literally got on the front foot. The next day we were at
Ammunition to get rid of him. Yeah.
what pool were we at? We're doing recovery. We're on the massage table, and then I come out on Twitter
Yeah.
that he got resold. And everyone still
Wow.
thinks that we got told before. We didn't. It got resold. We got leaked.
Yeah.
And then we all had to rock up to West Ashfield Leagues Club, and that's where they told us.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Mm.
that was like, I don't know what's happening with this club at the moment. I'm getting frustrated.
Yep.
And I never really, there was talk that I was going to go to this club and that club, and I never thought it was genuine.
Yeah.
I always just see myself playing West Tigers.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of guy, I hate change.
Yeah.
I get a bit, a bit anxious if
Yeah.
you got to move on,
Yeah.
whatnot. You ask anyone in my family, if I go to a pub, I order the same thing, chicken schnitzel every time because I
Yeah.
don't want to change. I don't want to.
So you got anxious a few times.
Yeah, oh, brother.
You had so many guys.
So then from the moment I did sign with the Dogs, it never felt right,
I know the feeling.
and it's like,
Was
it's
that
never
you
felt
go
home.
there? Was that how much was that you wanting to go to the Dogs, and how much was that your manager telling you
well, to be honest, it wasn't really. It was
you're going to the Dogs?
So we had I remember one night. So I played against the Bulldogs on what day was it? It was I got Anzac round.
Yep.
That was the day when it was James Tedesco, the crowd. James Tedesco, number 1, fullback, boo.
Yep.
Mitchell Moses, 5'8". Luke Brooks, yeah. And then
yeah.
captain, we all got sprayed.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. I ended up getting man of the match that day. You got the Mad Medal,
Yeah.
the War Memorial Medal for the Anzac round. And at the end of the game, mate, I teared up afterwards, just getting booed by my own fans.
Yeah.
And I went home to my missus and I was like, this is I think it's actually to the point where I can't stay now.
Oh, really?
That was me, yeah. And I was like, I'm captain of this club and I'm starting to get booed now.
Mm.
And I don't think the fans want me to hear. I wasn't really hearing much from the club at that time
Yeah.
because they'd pulled the deal. But you always knew that if you go back to them and say, I want to stay,
Yeah.
which I probably should have.
Why do you think they pulled the deal? Was that just like a power play?
It's a power move. Like,
Yeah.
And you know what? They needed to make a decision because there was other
Yeah.
front rows on the market that they wanted to get.
Yeah,
They ended up getting Madalena and Russell Packer.
that worked well.
Yeah,
Didn't
but
work.
they had to make a play.
Yeah,
You got to remember, the Tigers started well the next
but
year.
they paid massive overs for
made
both
massive,
those
mate.
blokes. Like you would have
I
taken
know.
a fraction of that to stay.
Oh, mate, I would have been happy to stay. And the thing is, and the money that was tossed up with the Bulldogs, I didn't get that amount of money.
Yeah,
It was, I wish I did. It would have
Yeah.
been great.
yeah,
But I just think I thought in my head I needed a change
right.
because of what happened. And then sometimes when change isn't always perfect, I always tell a lot of people, the grass isn't always greener on the other side from experience.
I reckon a lot of players are better served to stay.
And you know, I'll tell you a funny thing, Kenny.
there
So
should be more emphasis put on staying at clubs
mate,
and players.
I
because
wish I stayed.
stay in the system
But
that's
then-
working for you.
I'll tell you one thing why I'm happy that I did move, boys, because I've met so many great people at different
Yeah.
clubs.
Well, you're
course.
Mr. Everywhere, man.
Tell
now.
me about it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and I can adapt in different situations. Like, everyone's different,
Mm.
and that's what I learned. Like at Tigers, I'd probably not that I knew how to get by. But then you go to a
Yeah.
new club, it's sort of like you got to do different things. You got to earn everyone's respect
Yeah, you
again.
got to earn it again. Yeah,
Yeah, so
Oh,
it was a bit of a
definitely.
learning curve, but yeah, like if I had my time back, I would have stayed.
yeah,
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest regrets.
yeah.
And
It's
Tiger
tough,
people
isn't it,
go-
to sort of
and-
say that?
It is. You got to own up, and,
Yeah.
and what kills me is watching the game like on the weekend at West Leichhardt Oval.
Because you're still a Tiger at heart,
Love
aren't
it, mate. I grew up down the road, like and
Yeah.
it
Leichhardt
kills,
boy.
It kills
Leichhardt
me. I
Junior.
grew up in Norton Street, and like people go, "Oh, you're probably happy that the Tigers." Go, no, I'm not happy. I want to see them go well.
you? Yeah,
Like it's, I was close with Robbie.
yeah.
Benji, I play with Benj.
Yeah. But they've got a piece of your heart too, haven't they?
Yeah, like and
It doesn't leave. Yeah.
mate, it doesn't. I still go watch the Balmain, Harold Matthews, and SG Ball
Yeah,
because that's where I played. That's where I grew up.
yeah.
And it's just hard, like knowing that, like I have no affiliation with them at the moment. Don't do anything with them.
Would you go back if they wanted you to?
I don't know. It'll be a.
Well, it wouldn't be hard for Benji, I imagine, to reach out and say, "Listen,
Oh
mate."
yeah, I think we're not probably on the best of terms at the moment.
Okay, fair
Yeah,
call.
Yeah.
yeah. When you become media and you got to have a comment on people,
Hello. Yeah.
people
No, I
just people think you're attacking them,
yeah.
and yeah, it's from what you hear, you bump into a few people.
Have you had one of those situations? Because I have this every now and then, where you bump into someone and you see them, you say, "Hey, how you going?" and they just give you the stink eye. And
Oh,
you-
yeah,
And straight
mate.
away you think, "Geez, what have I said?"
Oh, mate, I talk that
What
much
haven't
shit,
I
don't
said?
even remember
Well,
it, Kenny.
mate, I'm the
Like,
same. Like, welcome to my world. Would you see? You're starting to get an appreciation.
The thing is, right, Kenny, I just say what I believe in.
Yeah,
And if they
as
want,
I
if,
do.
if they want to have
As
it, they
Johnny
just got to
does.
ring me up. So
Yeah.
with all that stuff with Billy Slater, Ryan Hoffman come out and called me a coward,
I was going to bet
Yeah.
the same.
and then he backpedaled and said he didn't call me a coward.
Which he did.
Yeah, which he rang me up on the
He did?
on
How
the
did that
Sunday, but
go?
I was out with the family, so I rang him back on the Monday.
That's
Mate, we had a
different,
good
Aaron.
conversation.
Carrot and grub are totally two
Yeah,
different.
but we had a conversation. I just said, look, mate, Hoffy, you can call me whatever you want. I understand that. Like, I'm just trying to build it up. So I know you're having a personal attack, but he's like, mate, I know everything I've done with you. You've been great to me. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever, bro. I said, just don't ever mention my son's name again when
Yeah.
things that didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because Buster didn't get a photo of Billy. We just walked past and shook his hand.
yeah.
And for you to bring my son into it, it's
Yeah.
a bit different to banter what I was saying.
Yeah.
Actually
Below
happened
the
with
belt.
Billy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's, and then
But no one understood, Woodsy, again, that it was just banter.
that's it.
And,
That's
and
what I'm saying.
for Hoffman not to understand that.
Mate,
Like,
we're on a Triple M breakfast radio show where we just talk crap,
yeah.
and where it's not like if I was being fair dinkum honestly about it, go watch what I did on NRL 360 with Gordon Towers. We had a laugh about it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't until Billy reached out or someone reached out
Yeah.
to Gordy that he had a crack, and that's what escalated it.
Yeah.
And if Billy got a problem, ring me. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, I
I'll
know.
always answer the call.
How do you find that being, though, that transition from player? Because that's always one of the things. Like, see, when I first started, Gould said on, Phil Gould said the other day on Chiming In,
Yep.
okay, on Chimes' podcast, he talked about how the Super League war changed the dynamic between the media and the game. And look, you weren't around then. John, you were sort of off doing your thing at
I
the
was
time.
on holidays, yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Let's have a good one.
All
Anyway,
expenses paid.
so, but I was part of the game then, and I
Yeah.
know there was a significant change in dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay. Players went through this euphoria of just getting these massive, like in some
Yeah.
cases, they were earning 5, 6, 7 times what they were earning
Massive.
before the
Yeah.
before the war. Some cases, some players got 10 times more.
Yeah.
They went from 110,000 a year, 120,000 a year to a million plus.
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
the top
That's
end
a lot
blokes.
of money, man.
Yeah, back then, before Super League, the top contracts, the biggest contracts were about 130 grand a year.
And
So they
getting a
were
check
blokes
to
earning
sign,
$1 million
yeah.
a year.
Wow.
But anyway, but it did certainly change things. And now, part of, I think, what helped change things, one was the biggest thing was there was such animosity in the game. And you were always portrayed, depending on, it's funny, depending on who's making the accusation, you were either accused of being a Super League sympathiser or an ARL sympathiser, okay? And it was depending on who was saying it, because I was working at the Herald at the time.
So you were,
And Herald would not. They didn't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
It was News Limited and the ARL.
Oh, that's right.
So I often was accused by Super League of being an ARL guy, and the ARL accused me, and not just me. Roy Masters was clearly an ARL guy back then.
But you've already got relationships in the game.
Yeah, but
too.
Mascord was working with me at the time, and he was the same as me. He was accused depending on. But what it did is it made people pick sides.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it sucks.
And then once you pick a side, you're either friend or enemy.
Yep.
And then through the course of the game for the next 25 years, 30 years since then, it's much easier to become an enemy in the game rather than a friend of someone in the game. And that's just the way it is. And there was this big gap, the gap between players. I remember I used to ring players at home. I can remember as a young journo back then, I'd go into a Newcastle game after the dressing room. Matty and Joey had just played, and the three of us would go and get a can of beer, go and sit in another part of the dressing room by ourselves, and just talk about the game and just sit there, and we'd talk for 20, 25 minutes just about footy. They'd ask me what's going on. They'd always, them being them, that would always say they were curious about everything. So they'd be like, what's happening in Canberra? What are you hearing at the Broncos? Yeah, so there's a lot of, so we would just sit there and talk. And that's sort of where Matt and I, Joey and I, that's where our sort of friendship formed. And, not that we're all, we're not close, but we're still mates.
It's funny you say that.
And it's not that in the game now.
So my mum always said, you treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Whether it's, they've done something bad,
anyone,
they're a journo, they're a footy player, whatever, whatnot. I got mates that I grew up with that are absolute shockers.
Yeah.
But I still reach out to them this day because they're blokes I grew up with.
Yeah.
They've been there from day dot.
Yeah.
Media, Origin Camp. We went to Coffs Harbour.
Yeah.
And as you know, you're away from your city, so obviously they're going to have to travel. They're going to have to stay up there with you.
Yeah.
They put the media on one side of the thing, players on the other.
Yeah.
Mate, half the blokes in the media are great fellas.
Yeah.
And that's where I first started a relationship with all of them, because I got along with blokes like Reed, Kerry Arness, the Rickios, even Danny Wilder. He would be just hanging around like a bad smell all the time.
Yeah.
But you still always say hello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
my mum always said, if you see someone you know, make sure you go up to them, shake your hand, and say hello.
Yeah.
Mate, there was times where, like he said, I would go in, Big Clem and myself would go into Brent Reed's room, and there'd be a couple of journalists in there. We'd just chew the fat with them. We'd talk to them about games, talk to them about footy, try to help them about like what styles and stuff are. Like you said, sort of with Matty and Joey. And when some players see you at your club or an Origin, they go, "What are you doing hanging out with those germs?" Well, mate, I said, there might be germs, but they're also people.
Yeah. How many times I've copped this Woodsy with Kenty?
Yeah.
You got to remember, I've got a different relationship with them than what you have, because I speak to them.
Exactly.
I talk to them,
Yeah.
and I just treat them normal.
Yeah.
And if they ask me about a thing with footy, and I'll go, "Oh, look, we're mates, but I can't talk about that."
Yeah. Yeah.
As simple as that. I'll just straight back. I say, "Well, you know what? If you got a problem, ring Pasco or ring, as simple as that." I said, "There's something we don't want to go into."
Yeah.
And that's what it's just handle it. Just be upfront with them. Don't try to dodge them, duck and weave, and then you make a situation really awkward.
Worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned now. Like,
It's been a big change, but you've had to transition from one side to the other.
That's it. Yeah.
'Cause obviously you're doing
Well, it was funny,
now.
but back into my career, Kenny. So, like, you speak about the money. Like, I've been on good money, and then I was on like 68,000 last year.
Yeah.
That's still great money for a normal person, but compared to what other rugby league got, it was not even minimum wage.
Yeah.
And so
how'd they get you on that?
it was a supplementary contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
and like if you played first grade, you got extra bit of money,
Right.
like match payments. But I sort of, do I go again or do I not?
Yeah.
And Siebes, like, I actually really enjoyed my time under Siebes. He let me be me,
Yeah.
let me help the young kids out.
Yeah.
And then he also said, if you got any commitments for media, you can go and do that.
Yeah.
Good to
So like players would come up to me and they go like, how do you handle it when you got to spray another player? I said, I don't spray them. I say what I think in footy terms about what they've done wrong.
Yeah.
And I said the people that on Facebook, and I said, look, for starters, you blokes all read Instagram and Facebook. I couldn't care less what those people say.
Yeah.
I said, I'm just giving you my opinion.
Yeah.
Whether I got to play this person or I don't have to play them.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you what Aaron Woods thinks.
Yeah.
I'm not making up something for someone else.
Yeah.
And I know that's what I believe in.
Yeah.
So I know I'm not lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then and I go to players, once you don't care what other people think and you just believe in what you say,
Yeah.
that's when you don't mind doing that thing. And then you should see how many players now have reached out to me about how to get jobs in the media.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
I said, this is like, I did some stuff with you on Triple M like 4 or 5 years ago, Kenny, before the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And people would go then, oh, Kenny, he's an angry bastard, isn't he? I said, mate, you meet him off air, he's actually a good bloke. I said, not bad.
Yeah.
And then like you create that relationship, and I remember like I did 360 with you, we'd talk on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, and if you'd ring me up, what's going on here? And I say, well, this is, you know, but can't say nothing. Like just, you know, we're just, you know, doing my best. And you have relationships in the game.
So that's the thing. So one of the big problems in the game now, and the NRL's policies help foster this, is that coaches actively try and portray the media as the enemy. And as guys, you don't want to be around, you don't want to talk to them. Now, players think the coaches are looking after them.
Yeah.
What's in fact happening is the coaches are cutting off an avenue that they might one day get sacked on.
Yeah.
So coaches think if they can cut down the conversations between their players and the media, then less stuff's going to leak to the media about what's happening at their club. Then eventually, when the coach is in some sort of trouble, which almost all of them do at some point, that quickens it, or that stops them, prevents them from being able to arrest it and nip it in the bud, so to speak. So coaches will demonise the media to their players to make the players, oh, I'm not going to talk to him because he'll give me up, and he'll write this and he'll say that. Okay, most media, I would say, are actually looking to get along with the players.
Yeah. And
I would say in 90% of cases, and I know there's some grubs out there too.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not denial about that, but I could tell you how I've been treated. Yes, by some of them in certain ways, but in most cases, the player is all basically looking for a relationship where he can just exchange either ideas on the game or just often just confirm things.
100%.
And if you have a relationship with someone in the media where you can have that trust there that, mate, he's ringing me, he's going to be asking me about what's happening with the coach or their halfback or whatever, and you can trust him to just talk to him about it. And then and most times the players aren't looking to give you up. There's this belief that the players are always there looking to, the media's there looking to give you up.
You know what's funny,
They're
Kenny?
not looking to do that.
Some coaches would say,
In most cases.
you can't talk to these meetings, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Literally,
They're
they'll go
doing
out of that
themselves.
meeting, they'll go in their office, and they'll ring
They'll
the
be doing
journalist.
themselves.
Mate, it's unbelievable.
Look,
And now I'm in the game, because my eyes are a lot more open and broader, I can see where all the things are happening.
yeah.
And I know which people have connections with certain people. And it is so, like, now that I've sort of sat back and realised how it all happens, it's a funny game. It is a big game.
Well,
Who does it the best?
As I said earlier, when I went into that Origin camp, Wayne Bennett was in about year 2 of his media ban. Maybe he went about 2 or 3 years. I rang him and said, Wayne, I'm coming up to Origin camp. I'm going to do a story. He said, no, Paul. He said, I'm not talking to... Now, I was still talking to Wayne every week then, right? But he said, no, I'm not talking to the media. You know that. And I said, yeah, but that's okay. And he said, look, righto.
Yeah.
He said, but how are you going to handle it? I said, well, I'll just tell him I wasn't invited and I turned up. He said, yeah, right, I'll go with that. And he was happy. He didn't
That's
care.
great.
And it's, and Des Hasler's regarded as a guy that doesn't talk to the media.
Come on now.
Exactly, mate. You know what I mean?
That's what I think with Billy Slater, because they're in Melbourne, they don't do much media
They don't
down
understand
there.
it down there. It's
Yeah,
like,
if you come live in Sydney,
yeah,
there's 8 clubs.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get pizzled somewhere. One week
Yeah.
you might have a good week.
yeah,
Like last week, everyone was hammering the Tigers. They had a win this week. You haven't heard boo from them.
yeah.
Like, that's just how now we're going to the Dragons, or then
Yeah.
we go to Penrith, or we go to the Bulldogs. Like
Yeah.
it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and unfortunately, you're on the wrong end of it.
But the thing is, too, Wayne is one of the best at managing relationships with the media.
Well, where are they coming now, Kenty?
Yeah, I know, and it's hardly been
He's
boo.
gotta have one
And it's
bad
hardly
one.
been boo said. You know what I mean? Because Wayne is so good at handling it.
Exactly right.
Des is actually very good at handling it,
Yep.
and for all that's going on up there, I think this week's been quite kind to Des. In
It
many
is his
respects.
500th game.
Well, it's his, but after last week when he's called him out of the showers, he's given them a spray.
Oh, mate.
They've gone to have a shower. He's called him out of the spray to give him another
That shouldn't have been made public. That should have been private.
You know
What
what?
happens in the
Yeah,
sheds, leave
But
it
you know
there.
what happened? It would have
I
been
agree with
been
that, but-
private if they hadn't showered with their undies off.
one. Yeah, I know.
That was the joke going around. Yeah.
What about that? Yeah, but the thing is that it's funny. I remember some years back, a coach got a job who I got on quite well with when he was an assistant and all the rest of it. And then when he got the job, he stopped talking. And I said, "What's going on? Like,
How many times have you
what's
seen it
happened?"
happen?
Yeah, it's just stopped. It wouldn't. And he said, "No, I just want to be like Wayne. I don't want to talk to the media." And I thought, "Oh, okay."
It can only be
Like,
one way.
hello, mate. Like, anyway, he's no longer coaching that guy. You'll be,
But that's the thing, Kenny. Like people go, "I want to be like this guy," but the problem is he's got the experience and he's done that. He's been there,
Yeah.
done that.
yeah,
He's had the relationships where he can. But then what they don't know is he bloody talks to everybody.
yeah, yeah.
He's got
Because
his
if
certain
you're,
people.
so if it serves you two purposes if you're talking. One is you're tapped into the pipeline of information.
Yep.
So you know what's going on. You know what's going on at other clubs because journos know a lot of what's going on everywhere.
Mm.
So, and I've spoken to coaches. You know, what's happening at Manly? What have you heard? Okay, what's happening at Canberra? Like
Yeah.
they'll go through all that. Then you'll get that's one way it can benefit you. The other way it benefits you too is this. Yeah, there's this sort of ratio of distancing. You know,
Yep.
the closer you are to somebody, the harder it is to be critical of them. So if you're friends, if you're a
Yeah,
coach
exactly
or you're
right.
a player and you're friendly with a bloke in the media, if something happens, it's going to be harder for them to be critical of you because they're friendly with you.
Well, that's
Whereas if they don't know you or you just snarl at them every time they walk past you, well, that makes it easy just to tee off.
well, that was all. So we went back to Isaac, and before I took the breakfast radio job, he goes, "Are you sure you want to do this? Because there's going to be times where you've got mates in the media, you got
Yeah.
relationships, but you're going to have to tell the truth.
Yeah,
And some way you're gonna lose some friends, you might gain some friends, but that's what's going to happen.
yeah. You
And
just got to be true to yourself.
and I am true to myself,
Yeah.
and that's why I can walk around, hold my head up high. I just say how I feel and how I think, and I give my reasonings. You don't just go out there and go, "Mate, he's a crap."
Yeah.
You give your reasons why you think
Yeah.
they're playing poor or why you think they're playing
And
good.
justify what you say.
Justify what you say. You can't just
Yeah.
make an outlandish statement and have nothing behind you.
Yeah.
And that's what all I've done, mate. I reckon the media is fun
Yeah.
because it's funny how different people spin things.
Oh, it's fascinating, isn't it?
And I'm just sitting there
Spin
going,
doctors.
scratching my head and going, "Hang on, that's not how it's happening." Like I love it when journos come on with stats
Oh, yeah.
because where have they come from?
Yeah, from the coach.
Oh, mate. So it's just like
yeah,
you,
100%.
you learn things.
It's fascinating. You only got to see what's happened last week with Galvin when they brought it all.
Yeah.
They brought out almost
The
on the same
smorgasbord
day.
of
They
stats.
all brought out the same stats on Sexton to try
Yeah.
and justify.
But
it.
luckily,
Well,
I'm happy.
they've been
Galvin-
working the phones
I'm happy
there.
he got the match winner. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It was nice.
You know, you know what I mean. But you know what? He made a decision. He wanted to go to a strong club, and they were coming first at the time. Now they're coming, second.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it though? Like you are really?
Yeah, I love. You know, my favorite part, Kenny. I love commentating games.
Yeah.
I love commentating games, like just being able to give analysis of the games, just rocking up. It still feels like I'm playing, but not taking the hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta do your prep on who's playing.
Yeah.
You got to figure out ways, like leading into it, of how
Yeah.
they're going to break down the game.
Yeah.
Or when you watch it live, you go, "Oh, this is why that happened," and you
Yeah.
just try to give the list, because we do it on radio.
Yeah.
Try to give the listeners an idea of what West Tigers did to break down the Gold Coast Titans in that try,
Yeah.
in that passage of play. Sometimes you get bludgers of a game. Saturday 3:00, you normally
Yeah.
get a stinker,
Yeah.
and you end up taking the piss and talking crap. And
Yeah.
you got to remember you're commentating the game. But yeah, there's nothing better than just being able to assess situations in games.
Well, you're doing a really good job, mate. Like,
It's great fun.
I do enjoy listening to you.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love doing it. And as I said, you don't take yourself serious. Let people take the piss out of you. You take the piss out of people.
Yeah.
It's what makes the world go round.
Aaron, before we finish, single mother, Rebecca, correct?
Yes, Rebecca.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you were raised by your auntie, your sister, females in your
all
life.
women,
predominantly.
mate.
All women.
And
You come out and said you're mummy's boy.
I am a mummy's boy,
Okay.
mate.
The reason why I say that, this mummy's boy he, Paul, played State of Origin,
Yeah.
clean sweep 2014, 17 tests for Australia.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself, mate.
Oh, I'm very happy,
Your
mate.
best years were at West Tigers. I want people to know that. 'Cause
Thanks,
when,
Johnny.
when you talk about when I brought up Aaron Woods to a few mates, we got him on the
Yep.
podcast this week. Oh, he played 2 years too long. They forget for what he's done.
Yeah. 100%.
But they're right.
Current
mate.
front
They play
rowers
a little
now.
bit too long.
Yeah, but current front rowers now, and once the
You did if you're going to get 68 grand.
Paul, post retirement, would have loved to play
I'll
for
tell you
Australia
what, Johnny.
and play for their state. They
I'm-
didn't achieve what you did.
I'll tell you one
Should
thing,
be
Johnny.
proud of yourself, mate.
As a kid, I never forget it. My year 6 little book where you write a profile about yourself.
Yeah.
I wanted to play because I was a mad Manly supporter, but they were Northern Eagles at the time.
That's right.
My thing was in 10 years' time, I want to be playing for the Northern Eagles because I am a massive. I'm just a tragic rugby league fan.
It's beautiful.
And I love the game
achieved.
so much. Like people go to me, you've had some great experience, but you've had some poor experience. I said, mate, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah.
You go in and what this game's given me, and my young bloke's playing now for a junior Penshurst RSL. Mate, I love going down there with the kids mucking around. It is honestly the best sport in the world.
Mate, you've achieved a lot. You should be proud of yourself. And I say
very
that
proud, mate.
wholeheartedly. Now, before you finish, we're not finished with you yet.
Oh, yep.
You've had so many clubs, and it's a great question for you.
Have I heard as many as you, Johnny?
Who was the biggest pest you ever played with?
Biggest pest? Wow. You know who was a punish, and he used to drive me mad? And, Luke Lewis.
Really? At the Sharks?
He'd have, these magic tricks. He'd have these pranks.
He's very good at the magic tricks.
Is he? Okay.
He'd tell you lies.
That's a first.
Right, he'd tell you lies, but he'd believe the lies he'd tell you.
Yeah.
I know a few of those
So he
blokes.
could tell them that good.
Yeah.
And even now when I see him now, have you seen him now?
Yeah, he looks
massive.
like
He's been in the gym for a bit.
He looks like he hasn't left the gym.
And I go to him, mate, come on, mate, how you going? He goes, mate, good diet.
Good diet.
Good
Oh, yeah,
diet,
of course it
yeah.
is.
Mate. But he, but he was also a pleasure to play with.
He's got one of those granola
Yeah,
diets.
that's Aaron, who was the funniest, mate?
Funny, mate, you know what? He's a character, Toby Rudolph.
That's
Toby
a-
Rudolph.
Oh,
That's
really?
a first. Yeah,
Because
totally.
I like different and
Yeah.
unique characters.
How-
I
in
never
what way?
judge. I never judge a book by its character. And this
By its
guy,
cover.
Or cover.
by its cover, sorry.
Sorry.
And he come down from
Yeah.
they signed him from Redcliffe Dolphins. He just did an ACL.
Mm.
He's in his knee brace. Wade Graham just his ACL as well. So
Yeah.
they were doing rehab together.
Yeah, go on.
Wade goes to Flanagan, if you don't put this bloke on a different schedule to me, I'm going to tell you to sack him.
Yeah.
Like, this bloke is an absolute fucking punish. And you get to meet him. He's the life of the party.
Every
Just
club needs them.
I would pay him $300,000 just to be at the club.
Wow.
Not even to play first grade.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm telling you, and he gets the boys going. You could have a flat mood. He comes in and mate, we could be digging holes, and he just pump. He's the best man for dressing room.
That's good.
That's what you
Some
need.
of the things
You need that.
and
You
we
need
can't say what he does in the dressing
Yeah,
room.
of course not.
But you need the antics in the dressing room go a long way.
Yeah.
And like I said, blokes like himself. Do you remember Kyle Lovett from the West Tigers?
Yeah.
I'd pay him.
I think he's an actor now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an actor now.
Yeah.
Just to have them in the dressing room.
Mm.
Okay.
They are what brings the team together, and you have so much fun with those guys.
Okay, I've got one more for you.
Yeah.
Who loved that mirror? Looking in the mirror.
Oh, in the mirror.
Show pony. Mate,
Ruben
you can't-
Garrick. Ruben Garrick
At
from
Manly.
Manly. He's a good-looking sort.
You reckon?
Mate, the Sharks boys were horrendous. They were terrible. They
Well,
were just Aussie
the gel
battlers
and
doing
everything,
it,
yeah?
but- Oh, mate, they were terrible. Farrell was good. Farrell was always there.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he was in there a
Not
fair
surprised
bit.
One bit.
Johnny Morris, he was actually coach.
He come up before.
He's
Boy.
come up before Johnny
Who
Johnny
you-
Morris.
Morris, yeah.
who had him?
So when he was a coach, a funny story, loved by my funny
Yeah.
guy.
Tell us, please.
You know when coaches, they got to worry about the recruiting, worry about the game plans. You know what he was most worried about?
Tell us.
The fitting of our shirts for training.
You're joking.
Oh,
if
really?
they fitted good around his arms and that. And he had the best pair of legs I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you
And
looking at his legs for?
Mate, it's not many times you see a coach in better nick than half his team. Mate, I love
I
him.
love enjoyed
He's
this.
the best.
I'm glad you got Woodsy on today, Paul.
Yeah, mate. Thanks for coming on, mate. I
thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Would you?
Aaron,
Johnny,
it's been
thank you,
always
mate.
a pleasure, mate.
Thank you. Anytime, boys.
Mate,
I know that.
you're conquering the media world. I can say I was there at the beginning, back in the day.
Hey, you helped me at the start, mate.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, mate, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Thanks,
go on.
Thanks, boys.